Hi, my name's Chris Carlson. I'm the Dean of Student Success. I'm also the chair of Gordon's 8 honors programs. I'd like to give you a brief description of those so you have a context for how unique Gordon is with a menu of choices for you. Curiosity is something we talk about often at Gordon. I'm interested in yours. When you come and visit the campus, someone's going to ask you what's the thing that you're most curious about. And we really mean that because curiosity leads to academic imagination. And academic imagination connected to faith becomes purpose. And we hope to help you find a way to plug in your natural curiosity about whatever that is into some academic and some experiences, and then let that imagination start to become the purpose that God has for you as we go forward. So let me describe a few of how these work. The first thing I want you to do, and if you come to campus, I will pop quiz you, is to describe one area of curiosity or academic interest without using a common major title or label. It's not easy to do this, so I want you to play with that. So this is an example of mine. I'm curious about the ways in which humans become motivated to excel in areas of apparent strength or expertise. Now, you might think if I introduce myself like, oh, I'm interested in psychology, but that really won't tell me or someone else that you're talking with exactly what is interesting about that area that you seem attracted to that we've labeled as psychology. But if I read that or spoke that out to you about what I'm curious about, you'll start to wonder like, well, is he talking about athletics? Is he talking about music performance? Is he talking about business? But my curiosity is about the humans in there. And so how those humans become motivated in a certain way and so that they excel. And so motivation is actually a psychological concept. And where does it come from? We can be curious about that all day. We'd have a great conversation, but I didn't stick to just psychology. So I want you to play with that, make a note of it, walk around with it, practice it, because if you visit, I will ask you what you're curious about. We have 8 different programs to choose from. Honors programs, and the definition of those, so traditional academic honors are curricular. They contribute credits towards your degree, so a major or a minor, and they extend the learning in those areas in a deeper way. So sometimes it's research, sometimes it's sort of a study of your own, sometimes it's very experiential and applied, but those are curricular programs. So honors programs to us have a curricular credit-bearing component to them. And there are scholars programs. Scholars programs are typically based on a cohort selected early on or in some way spending time together in the short term and long term, but they're focused around a particular area of interest or development, and they're complementary to the honors and scholars options that you have. And they're usually experiential. They usually do something together in that cohort or something that you're doing individually and applied. We have 4 of each. So there are 4 traditional academic honors options at Gordon that contribute towards a degree. One is called departmental honors. One is called the Kenneth L. Pike Honors Program, which is sort of a build your own major program. Something called the Jerusalem and Athens Forum, and the Oxford Semester at Oxford University. Those are open to any student at Gordon who qualifies. So once you're here for at least 1 semester and establish a good Gordon GPA, you'd be eligible to be interested in those particular programs, and I'll explain those in a second. Scholars options, there are 4 of those as well, and each of these reflects some facet of our founder, Dr. Reverend A.J. Gordon. So the A.J. Gordon Scholars Program, the Clarendon Scholars Program, the Dokes Pastoral Ministry Scholars Program, and the Global Honors Scholars. Those are selected from among first-year students and entering students, and so this fall and winter, we are doing the selections for the 2023 arrivals in August. 4 honors programs that are curricular. One is departmental honors. And so you can imagine departmental honors in an area of study. You want to do some research and extend your learning in that area. So say it's going to be some sort of physical research that you're interested in. Maybe it's a sociological research. You're interested in a particular aspect of, say, human trafficking. You might be interested in sort of art in some ways, but you can do departmental honors. And usually with your advisor in that 2nd and 3rd year, you're imagining what those outcome projects would look like. You would have a meeting to talk about when to do the research. So there's coursework that you would sign up to do the research component, coursework to do the writing component. And at the end of that is the act of a scholar where you get up in front of your peers and the faculty who are evaluating you for a grade and explain not only what you have learned, but how you have created that particular project and why it matters in the world. And that's a significant act of a scholar. It also usually results in a bound thesis, so some printed product Perhaps in an art installation might be a little bit different, but there's some sort of an output. But that makes it a really interesting story to tell when you're speaking with someone for a job interview. So your first work after Gordon could either be a graduate study, it could either be some work, like a job. But either way, you're far more interesting in that interview than just describing yourself as a business major if you've done some research to explain the buying behaviors of folks interested in hybrid and electric vehicles. And being able to demonstrate that in a conversation certainly moves you to the top of the list for candidates that are interesting and worth hiring, either at the graduate level or for a job. The Kenneth L. Pike Honors Program is a little bit like departmental honors in that it builds over time, but this one is a build your own major program. So it allows you either to build a unique area of study that we wouldn't ordinarily offer at Gordon, but could be completed within the framework of learning at Gordon, or to fulfill an existing program that needs to be completed in a unique way. So some of those examples in these small pictures here, a student did a little bit of work on the history and philosophy of art. So their outcome for that research project, if you want to call it that, was an art installation that others got to engage with. And she had an opportunity to explain how those things formed in her area of study. The one in the middle is a Pike program in therapeutic riding, which combines some aspects of human development, particularly with children with special needs, with some components of youth ministry, and then obviously some components of equine studies, because large animals just need to understand how they work. The other one is an interesting one, and it was described as urban sustainable community development. And so that was, think about rooftop gardens in the city. How does that bring and help communities become partners together in the spaces that are available, which is typically upwards instead of outwards in urban environments? And that student created some projects in an urban environment that were applications of her learning in that. So there's some Pike Honors programs which could either be a major or a minor. The other two are more short-term ones. One is called the Jerusalem and Athens Forum. Think about that as a great books program. And a famous quote from Tertullian that was, "What does Jerusalem have to do with Athens? What does learning have to do with the church?" And the questions over time of history, philosophy, literature, and faith are broken into 2 semesters. The fall semester is the antiquity components of those particular explorations. And then the spring are more contemporary understandings of how those work. And over that 6 credits and 6 credits, so 12 credits total towards your degree, you would explore those. And at the end, there's an Oxford-style debate. So the 14 students in that program over that 1 year spend time, and they come up with an opportunity to talk through and come to a resolution about a topic. So imagine the topic was, what are the limits, if any, in enhancing human performance? It is not a debate in the traditional sense where there's often just a winner because someone debates well, but the conversation together is actually about a resolution. How do we resolve the tension between these two things? Both the moral issues, the faith issues, the scientific issues about that one topic. And you do it in front of a large crowd. So there might be 200 or 300 guests watching, some of your friends who might heckle and ask questions at the end, but also faculty who are asking some deeper questions about areas that are related, but maybe you hadn't thought of. But that exploration over the semester to be prepared for that is the true nature of what a debate would be. It's together we might be able to put our ideas together to come to a truer resolution, at least for the short term, about what's possible, and not simply to just have a debate for the sake of the exercise. And the last one is a scholar's semester at Oxford. So a full semester, or sometimes 2 for a full year at Oxford University. We have seats in Wycliffe Hall, and then allows students at Gordon to participate in the British tutorial system, which would be going to a lecture on Monday from someone who's a significant lecturer in their field. You spend the rest of the week in one of the libraries doing some deep work for that. And at the following week, you go back, sit one-on-one with that lecturer and explain what you have learned. You have an hour to explain what you have learned for that week. And a student that returned, called Jonathan, reminded me that he has to fill the whole hour and can't just do 15 minutes of material and hope for the best. But the professor expects you to fill the hour with what you have learned. And what he learned, Jonathan, in the process, was he had more learning to do and spent a little more time in the library and understood the deeper processing and holding that stuff. We have, Wycliffe Hall has seats in most of the humanities and social sciences, and a few seats available for students in the natural sciences, particularly in human development and movement. And so that's opportunity for probably junior year is probably the target for those. But those are honors, traditional academic honors programs that are open to any students who qualify. You just need to have established a Gordon GPA, which you can do in that first semester at Gordon. Scholars programs, again, are cohort-based experiential learning opportunities, usually focused around particular areas of learning or development. Ours are named after Dr. A.J. Gordon, who's the founder of the institution. The photo on the far left is Dr. Gordon's freshman photo at Brown University, who haltingly declared at the age of 16 or 17 that he wanted to go do some extended learning. He's from the foothills of New Hampshire, which is otherwise known as the woods. His family was a little taken aback because he was a shy young man initially, but he suddenly felt as though he wanted to do some more deeper learning in the scriptures. So he went to Brown University, developed a love of the scriptures, and that led to him just being curious about almost everything in the way that those things worked. So curiosity is the focus of the A.J. Gordon Scholars Program and development of an early scholar. The Clarendon Scholars Program reflects Dr. Gordon's next trip to Jamaica Plain and Boston. So his first opportunity to be in and around an urban environment and the dynamics of that place. And the Clarendon program is actually built for students who are from the city who seek to go back to the city and do good work there. You can learn some more by following the URLs to these particular programs on our website. The Doak Scholars Program, so Dr. Gordon's second church that he had, the Clarendon Street Baptist Church, actually, where he became a full pastor in that fullest sense. So ministered to the immediate community around the church, but also pastoring and sharing the gospel within and developing the faithfulness of the flock in the Clarendon Street Baptist Church at the time. And that also had some connections to the world. So there's an active missions opportunity that he created in the latter part of the 19th century. And that led to his vision for not just bringing the world to Christ, so bringing people into the church, but bringing Christ to all the world. So the going out part of how the gospel works was reflected in the Global Honors Scholars Program. So each of those programs has a particular focus of them that you can learn some more about in that way. But the goals of those is for you to find your way and your development in areas that are already calling to you. And we do selections in that way. So again, 4 academic traditional honors programs, departmental honors, which is within an area of study, the Kenneth L. Pike programs, if you build your own area of study or connect it in interdisciplinary ways. The Jerusalem and Athens Forum is a great books and conversation series, which results in a dynamic Oxford-style debate on campus for 1 semester. And the Oxford semester or semesters at Oxford University. And our 4 scholars opportunities, which are 4-year cohort programs with merit scholarships attached to them. The A.J. Gordon Scholars Program, the Clarendon Scholars Program, the Doakes Pastoral Ministry Scholars, and the Global Honors Scholars Program. If you have any more questions, you can certainly follow it up with your admissions counselor or with myself or any of the directors of the programs. Just follow the URL and ask your questions. We're glad to have you taking a look.